I think lino printing suits my drawing ability and the pleasure I get out of the carving, which is a sort of sculptural feel. So there's a sort of craft element to it around pattern making, which is also part of the whole thing about creating a larger image and composing something based on a piece of landscape. One of the things I love about the Scottish landscape around my coast, going from Stonehaven, which is what the picture's about, right up to where we are in Banff and beyond in the fishing villages here, is the way that the impact of small communities and how they've built their lives into the landscape, and how the natural landscape is still visible through the towns. So you can see the hills, you can see the trees, you can see the way the land has been shaped. All that creates a beautiful mix between the man-made buildings and the piers and all the other huge pieces of change we've made to the landscape. So one of the things I like about the buildings and the way things are built around here is that you can still see how someone hefted the stones from one on top of another. They couldn't flatten the land, and so everything is built within the landscape. And so the bones of the landscape are still visible through. I think one of the things about Stonehaven, when I looked at making that print, was the way that the cliffs encircle the harbour. There's a sort of a holding. I suppose something to say about the way I cut things and represent them. I learned how to make art as a painter, and so my marks are representing how perhaps I would have used a brush or a pencil. And so things like the water at the harbour, or the sand at the harbour, the way that all angles in and the way that the shapes mingle with each other is partly to do with what you can see in sand at a harbour's edge and the way that water's trickled in to create shapes. There's also me always hunting out to find a new texture, a new way of describing a surface.